Iowa State Representative Joni Ernst, who is a candidate for the Senate, she's had some interesting comments about the UC Santa Barbara shooting, and she doubled down on them during a debate yesterday. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
We have a Joni Ernst in a television ad that is running continuously on all local television stations that contains violent imagery pointing a gun directly at the viewer and vowing to, quote, shoot them down, and hateful language directed towards her opponents. Is this really what politics has become in this country? Mrs. Ernst, what do you say to this viewer?
Yes, I would say to that viewer that what happened in that shooting and that stabbing is an absolute tragedy. However, I remain firm in my commitment to the Second Amendment. I have been endorsed by the NRA in this race, and again, just because of a horrible, horrible tragedy, I don't believe we should be infringing upon people's Second Amendment rights.
So you wouldn't change the ad or the timing of it or anything?
I would not, no, and this unfortunate accident happened after the ad, and it also shows that I am a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. That is our fundamental right.
Okay, so we're going to play some clips that she's put out, advertisements for her campaign, but first, I thought the key words there, this unfortunate accident. Yeah. This wasn't an accident. This was an intentional shooting that was premeditated, that the guy left a long video on YouTube explaining
what was unfortunate was the accident that allowed this guy to get guns.
That, right, exactly, but that's not what she's talking about, obviously. So I think it's a little strange the way they word these things. Let's watch two of her...
Let me give you a little context. Joni Ernst is a state representative in Iowa. She is running a Republican primary to replace Tom Harkin, one of the liberal lions of the U.S. Senate, has been there for a long time. Really, I'd say one of the great senators, one of the really good senators of our lifetime. And he and she is most likely going to get the nomination. She's running against two other Republicans, but in the most recent polls, she's way up. This ad caused a lot of attention to go toward her. And then if she doesn't get 35% of the vote, then the state convention selects the candidate. So that's the only way she won't run against Bruce Braley. She is frighteningly close to possibly being a senator. So this isn't just some wacko candidate out in Iowa running. This is somebody who's dead serious about winning.
So if 51% of the people in Iowa vote for her, do you think that's a possibility? Because Iowa, say what you want, they're not crazy. They had Harkin in there. I mean,
but they also have Grassley in there. I mean, they have Republican governors and they have Democratic governors. They are very... They like people who do things, though. You know, they're. It sounds crazy. I mean, but their senators get results for Iowa. They always have. Grassley does too, and so does Harkin. And so I think that Bruce Braley's saving grace is exactly why you're questioning her viability. And she has to run this way now to get out of the primary. She's going to scale it back a little bit in October.
I mean, she's still bragging that the NRA has endorsed her.
Right.
I mean,
and
she's
the whole idea of
but of course that's what they do.
The Second Amendment, that they're going that somehow, you know, anything that is being proposed challenges the existence of the Second Amendment. I wish it did, but it doesn't, you know, and these people that hang on to the Second Amendment like they do and like Joni Ernst does, it's pretty scary. And I think that that's going to be something that's talked about in another generation, this adherence to the Second Amendment.
Well, it's adherence to the money that gun manufacturers throw at people.
And she's talking about that, and I got the NRA endorsement.
Yeah,
I mean,
so this isn't really about ideology. It may be about ideology for a very small percentage of the electorate, but this is just money, because we know that 90% of the electorate wants regulations put on guns.
But it is for within the Republican primary in Iowa.
Yes.
She is sadly saying the right thing. Sorry, Dave.
Well, speaking of money and guns, let's look at a mashup at a couple of her ads that she's put out so far.
A lieutenant colonel who carries more than just lipstick in her purse. Joni Ernst will take aim at wasteful spending, and once she sets her sights on Obamacare, Joni's gonna unload.
I'm Joni Ernst. I grew up castrating hogs on an Iowa farm, so when I get to Washington, I'll know how to cut pork. Give me a shot. Let's make them squeal.
We're now at the point in American politics where we show a cute pig and we get political currency off of cutting its balls off. You know, you see the squealing pig, and elect me because I know how to castrate it.
So you're saying that there's a culture that kind of rewards violence and just like punitive meanness.
Did I say that?
No.
Yes, I am saying that. I thought you were playing.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's another unintended consequence of the death penalty. That what it does is it just increases violence in our country. It lets people know that violence is good sometimes. It works really good. And that's why I'm against it, because we're going down this road in this country where that's acceptable. That person's going to be a senator, or maybe. That's an acceptable thing. So our culture is really, talk about lowering the bar. It's really going, and there doesn't seem to be a bottom. Because
exactly.
How many people just got killed at the University of Santa Barbara, and she doesn't give a shit. She's still bragging that the NRA is...
She's referring to it as an accident, something that we know that was premeditated and calculated.
Yeah, he slipped down the steps and then he started shooting people.
And she's standing by this gun ad, ad with a gun in it, with a target in it, standing by it after Santa Barbara, after Newtown, after everything. You know, I mean, you'll remember Sarah Palin had an ad after Gabby Giffords, with the bullet holes. Yeah.
I mean, that would be like Al Sharpton still standing by Tawana Brawley right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just amazing to me. And there's no consequence to be paid for that. A little bit, I say good for the news person who at least presented that question, but that doesn't happen often enough, and they should have just said, really? You don't feel like a craven politician right now? Do you understand why 90% of the people are against you, yet you still stand up for the NRA? You don't see that that's a problem with our system, that you're a representative of what's wrong? I guess they can't say that as news reporters, right? Because then they would be considered partisan.
Yeah, they can't say that, but they can certainly steer them towards having to answer, which they did. You know, I mean, she had to answer, and it was a pretty upsetting answer.